I love Canada, and I love being Canadian.
Canada's been good to you until it's not good to you.
I didn't say that. I said that there is a challenge.
Unbelievable. I feel like I was in Miami.
We all know what happens to countries who vilify and exclude and separate the Jewish people to the point that the Jews leave. Those countries fall apart. And it is the beginning of the end for many of these countries now. People say Europe is a far gone conclusion. When Mark Carney won the election, you were like, whoa, you're all fired up about that. I love that. And you were concerned. You said, come to Israel. That's the only answer, is come to Israel. You've lost it. And I agree. A liberal victory here was a huge setback, but I don't think we're in the abyss. Do you think that it's a foregone conclusion? Do you think that Jewish security and safety is melting away and that we got to get out of here? What do you think? Should I stay or should I go?
If you're asking me if it's a done deal in Canada, not only do I believe it is, but I believe you believe it is as well. I think if you took a step back and put aside the fact that you're home and you've been comfortable and it's not so easy to pick up and leave, and you just looked at the objective facts, objectively, with no bias, and you would pick up the next day and you'd come to Israel. I mean, I say to my friends in the States all the time, what has to happen, right? In other words, if I told you 10 years ago that in 10 years from now, they're going to be anti-Semites in Congress and Jews are going to be harassed on the streets, they're not going to be allowed to walk around freely in academic institutions, Jews will be burned alive in the streets of the United States of America, right? You would have said to me, if that happens, first of all, you would have said to me, there's no way that's ever going to happen in America. Then you would have said to me, if that happens, I'm not sticking around. I'm out of here. And here we are. And no one's leaving because, the boiling pot and the frog, right?
I think you keep on pushing that, right? You keep on pushing the limits of where you're going. It's a normal thing. It's a lot to do. I do want to tell you something though. I'm going to tell you, and I'm unapologetic about it. I love this country. I love Canada, and I love being Canadian. And I feel betrayed. I feel completely betrayed. And I feel that we haven't done everything that we could do yet, Hillel. I don't believe that the answer is just to give up and go. So it's not so easy. And I'll just say it. I think we know it.
I can't. I got to push back. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Like big time. Okay. Like big time.
Push back.
Okay. First of all, you love your country. So did the German Jews. Let's just start with that. So did the Spanish Jews. So did the Iraqi Jews. Canada's been good to you until it's not good to you. And we've reached that point.
This is a good point.
So
this is a good point.
That's number one. But the rest of the stuff that you said, I mean, let's start on a philosophical level. All right. And I'm going to, before I start, I'm going to make a disclaimer and say that I hope we can remain friends after what I'm about to say. But I mean, you don't have to be a biblical scholar to read the story of the spies. God said, go into Israel. I'm giving you the country. And they said, let's just wait. Let's send in spies. And they come back and they say, dude, you cannot make a living there, man. Real estate's very expensive. You can't live there. Don't go in. And the Jewish people were punished for generations. Till today, we're punished because of that. So first and foremost, before we get into the granular, saying that a Jew cannot live in Israel is...
I didn't say that. I said that there is a challenge, that it's challenging. Believe me, my heart is in Israel, as many Jews are, but there is a challenge in uprooting their family. We have to recognize that it's a reasonable and practical challenge to doing so. And I'm not saying that, that one shouldn't do it. I'm very much committed to trying to do it, but it is a challenge, Hillel. I know you've done it. You've moved your family, and I know you've paid a heavy price being in Israel.
So let's address this. First of all, of course it's a challenge. It's a challenge to move from New York to New Jersey. Of course it's a challenge. Leaving a country and going to halfway around the world. Of course it's a challenge. You built a whole life there. Anybody who says it's not a challenge is being dishonest. Of course it's a challenge. But again, there's a challenge that is something we want to overcome. And there's a challenge that says, whoa, I can't go into Israel again, like the spies said in the Torah. So let's just put this in perspective here. I live in Beit Shemesh, a neighborhood full of 100% Americans who made Aliyah without money. 100% of them are making an amazing living here and living an amazing life here. And I'll tell you even more than that. I'm no rocket scientist or I'm no doctor or lawyer, but I, Hillel Fuld, because I worked my tuchus off, I worked my butt off for many years, made more money than 99% of my friends in America. And I'm just a guy, I'm just a guy who loved what I did and I worked hard at it. So unequivocally, The statement that you cannot make money here like you can there is just false. It used to be true, by the way, and I understand why people say that. It used to be the case. It is just...
It's a challenge. It's a challenge. I'm not saying you can't make money. I know many Israelis that have done extremely well, but I'm saying it's a challenge, Hillel.
It's a challenge.
As it is a challenge here. It's a challenge here to make money.
So in Israel, especially if you're in, business and specifically you're in technology, whether you're an engineer or a sales guy or a marketing guy, there's endless opportunity, especially for someone who's English speaking. So again, the concept of I could come to Israel, but I have to lower my quality of life or cut my salary in half is, again, unequivocally just false. It used to be true. It's no longer true. That's number one. Number two, regarding real estate. Again, it's a statement that you're making a blanket statement it's not a true statement. It's true that in certain places, if you want to live in Tel Aviv or in Jerusalem, of course, real estate is insane. But if you're going to compare, for example, Beit Shemesh to New York City, then real estate here is dirt cheap. It depends what you're looking at. So to say that real estate as a whole is more expensive in Israel, again, is not true. And this is coming from someone who, for over a decade, I've been exploring the different opportunities in Israel. There are hundreds of places that a person could pick up, come to Israel, buy totally reasonably priced real estate and live like a king. So I can speak about myself in Beit Shemesh. We live in a 7-bedroom, 3-floor house. You couldn't buy a shoebox in New York City with this amount of money that we spent on this. So it depends where you want to live. If you want to live in Tel Aviv, then yeah, you're right. It's impossible. That's true. And Ra'anana, impossible. Modi'in, Beit Shemesh, Karmei Gat, Kiryat Gat, Netanya, Ashkelon. I was in Netanya last Shabbos. It was unbelievable. I felt like I was in Miami. I was in Ashkelon this past Shabbos. Again, amazing American community, English speaking. It used to be true. I want to be very clear. It used to be true. And this is why I hear, you're not the first person to say that to me today. Today I heard that from someone else. I hear it all the time. And I understand where it comes from. It comes from something that used to be true. But Israel has completely, fundamentally changed since what it used to be. When I came here 30 years ago, Israel was a third world country. Couldn't get tuna fish in this country. Now?
So Hillel, you think that the answer for people in North America today is get out while you can and come and make aliyah and move to Israel?
Do I think that? I don't think that.
Is that what you believe?
No, that's what God told me to do.
Okay, so that comes from a religious point of view. What about the secular, practical side of Hillel?
Let's just for one second address the religious thing. It's very easy, and we do this as Jews. Most people do this. We pick and choose, right? Okay, fine. I'm less comfortable not speaking lashon hara, slander, so I'm going to do that, but I'm going to keep Shabbos. Okay, I get it. We all pick and choose. That's human nature. Let's not glorify or idealize that picking and choosing. And let's just say it as it is. If you keep kosher because you're an observant Jew, and you keep Shabbos because you're an observant Jew, then as an observant Jew, you should live in Israel.